Okay, so today we're going to go through Yoast SEO version 11.1 and all the different sections that you need to fill in order for Yoast to actually work properly on your site and actually help your SEO. If you just install Yoast and don't actually set it up, then you're missing out on a stack of actually what it does to actually help the website. So basically just installing Yoast SEO is not enough to help the website SEO. So if you click on this section here that's got the big kind of Y there, and we're going to go firstly into the general settings. So in this version, there is like a first time SEO configuration wizard, so you might have to go through that first. But if you end up with a screen like this, then the first thing that you want to go into is the features. And you'll see that all of those are on. Now this is where you can have a look at your XML sitemap. So if you go here and then click where it says see the XML sitemap, then it will actually open up the sitemap for your site, because Yoast has used to in past versions have this over here in this sidebar section, so it was very easy to find, but now it's kind of hidden, but that's where it is. So if you want to, then you can click on all of these just to understand what they all mean, but I'm going to go through the most important things anyway. So the next tab that you've got there is Webmaster Tools, where you get to connect with your various Webmaster Tools. Now this is just one way to connect. There's various ways that you can connect with the Webmaster Tools, and I've got videos on that hopefully there'll be a link somewhere around this that you can go to if you need that. But basically you're going to put a code in here if you need to in order to verify. This one is for the Chinese one, this one's for the Russian one, and so and Bing and Google are the two most common ones. So the next thing that you're going to go to is the search appearance. Now this is just the free version of Yoast. You can upgrade to Yoast SEO Premium, but I've used the free version of Yoast SEO on all my client sites and get them ranking at #1 in Google, no problem with the free version. Okay, so now we're going to go to search appearance, and you can see that we've got a number of tabs that have come up here. So in the general tab, the first thing that I'm going to set up is whether it's a person or an organization. So in most cases, because all my clients are businesses, then I'm setting them up as an organization. So you put in your organization name and then you put in a logo. So you can read about that here as to how that actually helps you. So I'm just going to run through the bits that I do. I'm not necessarily going to go through why, because that's in my SEO ebook that explains sort of a lot more about it. But this is really just about trying to help you find the different sections in this version of Yoast. Okay, so under the content types, in this particular website, we just have posts and pages. My posts, I've set those to yes, because I want them to show up in Google search results. So Yoast has been changing how this is set up multiple times. Hopefully they'll keep it the same now, because this is pretty good by saying show pages in search results. Yes, makes it pretty clear. So that's the bits that I would tick there. Then we've got the media section. So in this version, all you have to do is leave it on yes, and that will make sure that you don't get pages indexed in Google that are just an image, because that's not what you want. And so this will redirect the attachment URL for the image to the attachment itself. So if you don't understand that, that's fine. Just keep it as yes. Now, in the taxonomies, this is often where I need to put things to no, so it'll look like this. If you've got like a local business or an online store, then in most cases, you're going to have your blog categories set to no, and you're going to have your tag set to no, and then most of these other things will also be set to no or disabled. Now that's because if you have these categories and tags, then what you end up with is a lot of duplicate content that is thin content. So Google does not like what we call thin content, where there is less than 200 words on a page, and Google also doesn't like it when there's duplicate content. So unless you've got a massive blog, which is what WordPress was originally designed for, unless you've got a massive blog and you want people to actually be taken to a page that just lists a whole stack of different blog posts, if you want that, then you can set these to yes. But I have never, with a local business or an online store, wanted somebody to go to a page which is just a whole list of blog posts. I want people to go to the service pages, to the product pages, all that kind of thing. So in these sections, I'll set that to no. So the only thing where it might be different is if it was a product category. And so over in the content types, you might have a product that you would set to yes. And then over here, the product categories, I'll often set to yes if there's lots of products in them. But the first one here, categories and tags, refers to the blog posts. Okay, so archives, again, unless you've got a massive blog where someone's actually going to search for a very specific author and want to see all the different blog posts that that author has written, unless you have that, you want to disable these. Disable the date archives, and you don't have to do anything with the special pages usually. So local businesses, online stores, always, I'll set that to disabled. Okay, so I don't really do anything with the breadcrumbs or the RSS. I mean, you can enable the breadcrumbs if you want to. There's some more information there, might be relevant to your specific site. Okay, so the next thing that we've got here is Google Search Console. So this gives you the ability to connect with Google Search Console, but in some later versions of Yoast SEO, it's indicating that it's not working anyway. And as you can see, there doesn't seem to be any information that's coming in there. So there's an article there on how to connect, but I don't think that's actually working anymore. Then we go to the social section, and this is where you can fill in, put the links to all your social profiles, which is a great idea. This is to let search engines know which social profiles are associated to this site. Then you can go in if you want to and put in very specific things for Facebook, Twitter and Pinterest. So if you actually have a Pinterest account, then you can confirm that there. Okay, then we go into the tools section. So in here, the only thing that I'm really using in here is the bulk editor. So you can click on that and it will enable you to go in and change. So at the moment we're on the SEO titles, and then you can click description here, and now it takes you to the SEO description, so you can go in and bulk update things rather than going into the individual pages if you wanted to. So an example might be if you had one thing that you'd put in most of these descriptions which was no longer correct, then you could go through and change those, and then it will update this on the actual individual page itself. So that when you go through to the About page, whatever you've put as the description in here will now appear as a description for the About page. And then we've got the premium section, which I said I haven't used, and then there's some courses on it as well. So in general, I'm working with loads of local business clients and online stores, getting them ranked on the first page of Google, and those are the most important sections of the Yoast SEO plugin that I'm filling in for this particular version, 11.1 of the Yoast SEO plugin. So now I want to show you what the Yoast SEO plugin section looks like inside the website itself, so on the pages or posts. So this is the page personality type tests. So if I scroll down, then I can see at the very, very bottom, it's got like Yoast SEO here and a tiny little arrow. So that can look quite different in yours because you might have a whole stack of other things that are beneath that. But if I click on this little arrow over here on the right hand side, then it will bring this up to show me the snippet and some other information. So if I go here to edit the snippet, so this is where I'm going to put in my SEO title, and this is where I'm going to put in the meta description. You can change the slug here, and then down here you can see it's got my readability analysis, and then I can put in a focus key phrase. I can add related key phrases if I had the Yoast SEO Premium. That's not something that I have ever used. Because I've got 10 years of experience, I'm not really taking much notice of what happens on the keyword phrase here. And then we've got the section here on cornerstone content, which is something that I haven't actually used yet, because again, with all the experience that I've got, I'm doing it in a different way, but that's something that I will hopefully be able to do some videos on in the future when I start using that to see how it works. But the key things in this section are really making sure that you've got an SEO title that has got the main keyword that you're trying to rank for at the very start. So that's something that I go through in a lot of my SEO ebooks, is how to craft these SEO titles in order to actually get the traffic to your website that you want. So you can see that even though, you know, in this case it's giving me like a red face for my focus key phrase. In fact, maybe it's because it should have tests on it. Oh, we've got orange now. But yeah, so just use that as a guide, because a lot of people think that this focus key phrase actually helps you to rank somehow by putting something in there. It doesn't. All it's really doing is assessing your page for you based on a whole range of things that it thinks are important. So it's a good idea to have a look at some of this. But other times, like for instance, it's saying here, put the key phrase in the slug. So that's the focus key phrase. And now I've got that in my SEO title. And actually the research has shown that if you have something in the SEO title, have something different in the slug, have something different as the page title, then that's actually more effective to rank. So in practice, the stuff that I'm doing doesn't always correspond with this, but certainly things like the text length, yes, I could definitely make that longer. But again, that's not stopping this page from ranking. It says image alt attributes. So certainly sometimes it won't even pick up the fact that if you do have the image alt attributes in there, depending on what system that you're actually using. So it can't always pick up everything. So sometimes it gives you a red mark for things that aren't actually true. It's saying, to put the keyword phrase in there more times, but it's not taking into account the fact that I'm trying to rank for a whole variety of different phrases that are similar to that, and so I don't necessarily want that key phrase in there lots of times. So as you get more experience, you'll be able to work out how important it actually is for you to get a green or red or orange face in this section here. It's really just a help and a guide. If we click on this little thing here, it actually takes you into a section for Facebook and Twitter, where you can put in something very specific that you want to show up on Facebook and Twitter if this page is shared. So that's a really good idea if it's going to be something that you're going to share a lot on social media, because sometimes what we're putting in the SEO title, in fact, a lot of times what we put in the SEO title isn't ideal for going out on Facebook and Twitter. So what we're putting here is great to help us get ranked in Google, but it might not be something that encourages people to click through on social media. Then you've got the advanced settings section. So this is where you can come in and set an individual page or post to be blocked from Google. So the default is that yes, all pages will be indexed, but sometimes you might have like a thank you page or some other kind of page on your site that you want to be hidden from Google. So that's where you would come into this section here and put that to no. So usually always leave that as yes, and so I'm not changing anything to do with the meta robots there. And now in WordPress, the canonical URL is by default set to the exact same URL as the page, which is what it should be. But if you want a different canonical URL in here, so what that means is, just say you've got two different pages on your website that have the exact same content on them, but you want both of them to be on the site, but you want Google to actually only take people to one version of that page. Then you have a few options, because you can obviously set that to no in here and not be indexed, or you can set it as a canonical. And what you're telling Google therefore is, yes, I know that I have duplicate content on my site. I know that these two pages are exactly the same, and there might be some slight differences. And this is the URL that I would prefer that you show to people. Now, Google can choose whatever it wants to do. So often I will give, if I have two the same for some reason, I'll give different SEO titles and then give Google the choice of which one it shows people. It can also be really useful to use if you have two different websites. So just say you have one website which is a commercial website and one website which is for residential and domestic, and you've actually got some content on both of those sites that's the same, then I'll often make one totally different website a canonical of another website, just so that I'm telling Google I know that this is the same content, and I'm going to leave it up to you as to which page that you're actually going to show people. And sometimes when I do that, I'll get both of the pages actually ranking on the first page of Google. So that's how you use this inner section in here of the Yoast SEO plugin on version 11.1. And the last thing that I wanted to show you to do with the Yoast SEO plugin is in your pages or post sections themselves. So at the moment you can see I'm in the pages section here. So it's listing the title of my pages, and this is one of the things that Yoast SEO enables you to see, is the amount of links that are going out of each page or blog post on your website, and the amount of links that are going into each one. Now, for some reason on this particular theme, it only actually shows me the amount of links that are going out, which isn't actually as helpful as knowing the amount that are going in. It certainly will help you to see, okay, I can see that this one has a lot of links going out, a lot of links going out. And in some cases, you don't want to have lots of links going out of a page. But it would help you to see if you had like a really important page on your site where you want a lot of links going to it, then it should have the arrow going the other way. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure why that's not showing on there, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So what I wanted to show you in here is that if you click on the screen options here, then it will enable you to put the SEO title and meta description in there as well, and even the key phrase if you want to do that. So that doesn't usually show by default, and that's why if you come up into this section, you can add that in there, and that just helps as far as being able to see what your SEO titles and meta descriptions are for all those pages, and maybe see if one's missing. So I can now see on my blog post page for the actual blog itself, I don't actually have a meta description in there, and so that's something that I need to go and have a look at, as well as on this, say, career test page. So that's just to sort of show you what that might look like. And if you want to order them, you can click on this little arrow here, and then it will actually order them in order of, the ones that don't have any links going out of them, and then the order of the ones that have the most links going out of them. And that would be the same if you have the other little option to do the links going into it. But the way that I set up a site, I know which pages have got the most amount of links, and you can also see that in the Google search console as well. And the other thing that you can do in order to easily get to more information about this is you can click on the little help button over there, and then you can click on the Yoast columns there, and it'll take you to some more information on how to use the SEO score and the readability score, and also how to use the features to improve like your internal linking. So all of that kind of thing that Yoast is giving you can be very useful. As I said, because I've got like 10 years experience of doing this, I don't always follow exactly what Yoast SEO is saying. Often I don't need to get like a green on here in order to get it rank. And in some cases, what Yoast wants me to do in order to get it green isn't actually going to help. But that's only going to come with time and experience and knowing what you need to do for each individual page on your website. Now you can go to previous versions of the SEO plugin or more recent versions of the SEO plugin by clicking on these videos here. In the video description, you'll find a link to my author page where I have all my SEO ebooks. I'm planning to write more of these in the future. So if you don't see a book for your industry there, please let me know in the video comments.